Hello, am I audible properly, everyone? Please reply. Okay, so let's start with our today's lecture. Okay, listen, in last lecture, I've explained you some brief introduction about this base first search. So again, I will repeat that so you have an idea. And then after in today's lecture, I will explain you some of the concept how the base first search works, and then after the algorithm of base first search and regarding the example that I will explain you in today's lecture. So what is base first search? It's a way of combining the advantages of both breadth first search and depth first search. Now, DFS is good as it allows a solution to be found without all the competing branches having to be expanded. All of you know that. And while in a DFS is good as it does not get trapped on a dead end path. In the case of base first search, you can say that it follows a single path at a time but switches the path when some competing path looks better. Again, I repeat, what is base first search? It follows a single path at a time but switch the path when some competing path looks better. Right? So this is about, so now through this figure, I will explain you so you can understand. Hello? Am I audible properly, everyone? Hello? There is some problem here, that's why I'm asking you. Am I audible properly, everyone? Okay. Okay, so listen everyone, through this figure I will explain you how the base first search works. Now, here in this case, what happened? So initially there is only a one node. Initially there is only a one node, so it will be expanded. Right? So here for a node, how many? The three successors are there, B, C and D. Now, here, what is the in the base first search? What is the heuristic function? The heuristic function is the estimate of cost of getting to a solution from a given node. Again, I repeat, the heuristic function is the estimate of cost of getting to a solution from a given node. Right? So here you can say that if for B means here you can say that this particular node, it's an estimate of how it is away from a goal. So let's say here the estimate is 3. Here it is 5 and here it is 1. So when you are applying this heuristic, how it's an estimate of cost of getting to a solution from a given node. Let's say assume the goal node is G. So here I can say that my heuristic is what? How it is away from a goal. So for B, let's say its value is 3, for C it is 5, and for D it is 1. Right? So here you can say that, see which one is most promising. So here you can say that the node D is most promising because its value is what? 1. So now the node D is most promising, and that's why what happened. So now next which node is selected? Next D node is selected and then it is expanded next. So now when D is expanded, then two successors are created. One is a E and another is F. So again the heuristic function is applied to them, and when the heuristic is applied, so now here for E its value is 4, here its value is 4 and here its value is what? 6. So here in this case what happened? So here in a base first search what happened? See which statement I have said, it follows a single path at a time but switches the path when some competing path looks better. So here in this case what happened? So here the value is 4 and here the value is what? Here the value is 6. So here you can say that but the another path that going through B, it looks more promising. Why? Because here its cost is what? Here its cost is 3. So the another path that looks more promising, and that's why you can say that now next which node is expanded next. So now B is selected and then again it generated successor. So which two successors are generated? One is a G and another is H. Again, heuristic function is applied to them. So what you get here, you are getting 6 and here you are getting 5. So, but again, what happened? So again, when these nodes are evaluated, so here you can say that they look less promising than the another path. Why? Because here you are getting 6, 5, but the another path which contains what here 4 and another here 6 is there. So what happened? Now attention is returned to the path through D to E, and then now next which one is selected? Now here you can say that now the E is expanded next and it generates the another successor, that is I and J. Again, the heuristic function is applied to them. So now next which node is selected? So next you can say that J will be expanded. Why? Because it is the most promising node. So in this way you can say that this process is continue until a solution is found. All of you clear up to this? Hello? Anyone have a doubt? Anyone have a doubt in figure how exactly it works? Please reply everyone so I can understand. Otherwise I feel that everyone knows. Only few of them are answering. I think all are not attending my class. So if you are not replying, I feel that all you are understood. Okay. Okay. So go to the next slide. Okay. So the next that is what is the okay. So before I show this PDF, can anyone tell me what's the difference between base first search and steepest ascent hill climbing? I think already I have explained that. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between base first search and steepest ascent hill climbing? Please reply me in chat. Okay. So here you can say that in a hill climbing, one move is selected and all others are rejected, never to be reconsidered. See, this is the most important part, base first search, and in next lecture I will explain you the A-star algorithm. This algorithm is the most important part in artificial intelligence, right? So based on that, the example can also be asked, and how the algorithm is works. So through example, I will explain you so you can understand. See what's the difference between these two, base first search and hill climbing. So in a hill climbing, one move is selected and all others are rejected, never to be reconsidered. Right? That I have explained you in a earlier lecture. While in the base first search, what happens? One move is selected, but the others are kept around so that they can be revisited later if required. See, here in this case, what we have done here. So when I'm explaining this, but at that time, see the B is most promising, so that's why what we have considered next, B is considered next. So here you can say that in a base first search, one move is selected, but the others are kept around so that they can be revisited later if required. Now, the second point difference is if the successor is having a lower value than the current state, then the hill climbing holds. Right? While in the case of base first search, what happens? It selects the best possible state, even though it is worse than the current state. So these are the difference between base first search and steepest ascent hill climbing. Okay. Now next I will explain you graph search. So listen, in earlier this tree that I have explained you, that is a base first search tree, right? But see, it is sometimes it is important to search a graph instead. It is important to search a graph instead of the search tree, right? So that you can say that the duplicate paths will not be pursued. To avoid the duplication of node, we are using the graph search. in a second chapter also I have explained this graph search. So here you can say that an algorithm to do will operate by searching a directed graph in which each node, each node that represents a point in a problem space, and each node will contain, in addition to a description of a problem state it represents, right? So an indication of what it represents, an indication of how promising a state it is, or a parent link, what it indicating, if a parent link that points back to the base node from which it came, and a list of additional a list of nodes that were generated from it. So the what is the use of this parent link? The parent link will make it possible to recover a path to a goal once a goal is found, right? And the last one, that is list of successors, right? Already the graph search that I have explained in a chapter number 2, the list successor will make it possible, if a better path is found to an already existing node, to propagate the improvement down to its successor. So here you can say that such a graph is known as a OR graph, and as each of its branches represent an alternative problem solving path. So this is all about, means instead of you using this graph search, we are using the graph tree, using the graph search, and graph search that is basically is used for avoiding the duplication of nodes, right? So now how to implement this graph search? So if you want to implement this graph search, so for that the we need two lists. Two types of lists are required if you want to implement the graph search. So one is an open list and another is a closed list. There are two type of lists that is implemented. Now, can anyone have an idea about this open and closed list? Hello, can anyone have an idea what is open and what is closed list? Am I audible properly, everyone? Hello, hello. Okay, so listen, there are two type of list. One is a open and another is a closed list. Okay, so what is open? Open means the node that have been generated and have had the heuristic function applied to them, but which have not been examined. So just listen. The open means the node generated. Simply you can say that open means node generated but not explored, right? And open is actually a priority queue. Here, for this list, what it maintained in a priority queue, and I think all of you know the priority queue concept, where the nodes are stored in an ascending order, right? Based on the heuristic value, how to store the node in a ascending order in a priority queue. So that we will see in the example, so you can understand. So here you can say that open is actually a priority queue in which the elements with the highest priority are those with the most promising value of the heuristic function. And standard techniques for manipulating priority queue can be used to manipulate the list. The another is a close. Close means the nodes that have already been examined, right? And we need to keep these nodes in a memory if we want to search a graph rather than a tree. Why? Because whenever a new node is generated, we need to check whether it has been generated before or not. Because why we are using this graph search? The graph search is used, that is to avoid the duplication of nodes. So here the two lists are maintained. If you want to implement this graph search strategy, then the two lists are maintained. One is a open and another is a closed. Open means the node generated but not explored, and here it is maintained in a priority queue. Closed means the node have already been examined, and we need to keep these nodes in a memory if we want to search a graph rather than a tree, since whenever the new node is generated, we need to check whether it has been generated before or not. Okay, so this is the concept of open and close. Now The next set is heuristic function for evaluation. So the heuristic function is f dash equals to g plus h dash. So now what is g? So g, that is the measure of cost of getting from initial state to the current node. So that means it's actual. This is what actual cost. G means the cost of getting from initial state to a current node. So that is what actual cost. And H dash means it's the estimation of additional cost of getting from current node to a goal node. And what is F dash? So F dash, that is estimation of total cost of getting from initial state to a goal state. Now see this figure, everyone. See, here I can say that for particular from A to B, what is the B? So here you can say that for B, from A to B, so this cost is known as a what G. So here you can say that from initial node to this current node, the cost is what G, that is the actual cost. But see, what about H dash for B? So here I can say that see how it is away from a goal. Let's say my goal is G. So for B, I can say that what from initial state to a current node means, let's say this node. So these are cost what G. And what about H dash? H dash means how the node B, that is away from a goal. So that is known as the what H dash. But remember, in a base first search, it's a greedy is nature, and here the algorithm works on that way. It consider only a H dash. The base first search algorithm consider only what estimated cost. It not consider the G value. So for base first search, the heuristic function is what? For base first search, the heuristic function is f dash equals to h dash. Right, and later in a next lecture, I will explain you A star algorithm. So where this function is used f dash equals to G plus h dash. So that is the difference between base first search and A star algorithm that we will discuss in a next lecture, right? So remember, in a base first search, it consider only what H dash. Okay, and G means the cost from initial to a current node, and H dash means it's an estimation of cost from what current node to a goal node, means how it is away from a goal node. Up to this clear, everyone? Anyone have a doubt? Hello? Up to this clear? Okay, so listen everyone. So I will explain your algorithm. But before that, see this note. In a base first search, it select the vertex closest to a goal. Does not consider the distance from a starting point. It just select the vertex what closest to a goal, means that is h dash. So it consider only h dash, and it's a greedy in nature. Sometimes its name you can say that it's a greedy base first search. Right? In some of the material you refer that it's a greedy base first search. Now see the algorithm. So through figure, first read it everyone, and then after I will explain it. I'll give you a time. Just read it everyone. Listen, in next lecture, I will explain you A-star algorithm. It's similar to a base first search, right? If you don't understand this base first search, then you can't understand the A-star algorithm, right? So for that, for A-star algorithm, first you have to understand this base first search algorithm, then you can understand the A-star algorithm. Okay, so see, I will explain an algorithm. That is, see, the first point is start with open containing just the initial state. The next is until a goal is found or there are no nodes on left on open, do pick the base node on open. So see, I will explain you through the figure so you can understand. What is the first point? Start with the open. And all of you know what do you mean by open? Open means the node generated but not explored. Okay. So start with open containing just the initial state. So see the same figure everyone. Let's say start with open. These what? These the initial state and initially the node is generated but not explored. So that means you can say that initially this node is in a open, right? Now then after see the algorithm everyone. In that what you have to check until a goal is found or there are no node left on open, do what you have to do. So listen in this case, until a goal is found or there are no node left open. So see, so let's say suppose my goal is G, right? So initially right now there is only a one node on open, that is A. So if my goal is G, so now you have to check A is my goal? No, A is not my goal, right? So now what you have to do? Pick the base node on open. So now in open only one node is there A, and let's say call that node a base node. So that is my base node. So I am picking that base node from the open, right? And what I am doing, I am generating its successor, right? So here in this case, what I am doing, so I am picking the base node from open, and then what I am doing, I am generating its successor, right? And after generating the successor, now what you have to check, see the algorithm everyone. So now see for each successor, do what you have to do. Now you have to check if it has not been generated before. So whenever the successor is generated, you have to check whether these nodes are generated before or not, right? So evaluate it, and if it has not been generated before, evaluate it and add it to open and record its parent, right? So here in this case, you have to check once the successor are generated, you have to check whether these nodes are generated before or not. If these nodes are not generated before, then what you have to do? Evaluate it. Evaluate it means you have to apply the heuristic function, and based on that the process is continued. So here when I am applying, so here the what is the heuristic function? That is h dash, means how it is, it's the estimated cost of from this particular current node to a goal node. So that's here 3, here 5 and 1, right? All of you know that. Now after that what happened? So what the base first search will do, all of you know that what it will do. So for this particular node is the most promising because it has the lowest cost. It has the lowest cost, and that's why you can say that next what this node is considered next, right? Now see the second point. So this is a first scenario. It has not been generated before when the successors are generated, and the second case, that is if it has been generated before. If whatever the successor is generated, if it has been generated before, then what you have to do? Change the parent if this new path is better than the previous one. And in that case, update the cost of getting to this node and any successor that this node may already have. So see here, the same figure I will explain you. Now listen. Suppose, see the step number 5 everyone. Now suppose for particular node E, the here the successor are generated, that is I and J. But instead of I, suppose let's say for E the successor is generated, that is C. Now every time when the successor is generated, what we are checking? Right, we have to check whether this particular node have already been generated or not. So suppose for after E, if the C node is generated, so now we have to check if this node is already generated. Yes, this node is already generated, right? So see here all of you know, in base first search the two lists we are maintaining, one is the open list and another is a closed list, right? So if you are checking whether the successor is generated, so you have a two choice whether that particular successor, it may be possible that whether it is in a open or whether it is in a closed. Open means the node generated but not explored, and closed means the node have already been examined, right? All of you know that. So here I can say right now the C is in a open. Why? Because the node generated but not explored. So here for E, if my successor is generated, that is C. So now I have to check whether it is in a open or a closed. So right now it is in a open list, right? So now if it is that, then what you have to check? What I have explained in the algorithm. So you have to check whether the you have to change the parent if the new path is better than the previous one. New path means, see here, let's say here the it is 5, but here how to reach, suppose here it is C, so how to reach to C? A to D, D to E, and then after E to C you are reaching, right? So you have to calculate the cost, and then after you have to compare ki this new path is better or old one is better, right? You have to compare it. If new path is better, then what you have to do? You have to change the parent. But see how this exactly done. Listen everyone, how this process exactly done. So this scenario, I will explain you in a A-star algorithm, right? So through example, if the new path is better than the previous one, then how to change the parent, right? So this second point of this algorithm that I will explain you in a detail in a A-star algorithm through example. So at that time you can understand. Up to this clear everyone? On the name is listening my lecture. All are listening. Are you sleeping, everyone? It's a 3 o'clock. That's why I'm asking you. Okay, so the best first search through example I will explain you so you can understand. This type of question can be asked in exam also. So this type of actual cost is given, estimated cost is given. Wait for a moment, tell you. Okay, so I will explain you through example so you have idea. Okay, so listen, in a base first search, actual cost is given and estimated cost is given. All of you know the heuristic function f dash equals to g plus h dash, where g means actual cost and h dash means estimated cost. But see, in a base first search algorithm, we are considering only what estimated cost. We are not considering the actual cost. That is the nature of the algorithm. Okay, so but in this way, the question is asked, the actual costs are given. So that means from A to node B, what is the actual cost? The actual cost is through A to B means let's say the initial state here it is given, that is A. So from A to B, its cost is actual cost is what 4, right? But for B, the estimated cost is what 8. Listen to this figure, everyone. If for A to B, it actual cost is what 4, but for B, what is H dash means? H dash means how the particular B node that is away from a goal. So that is what H dash. A to B here its cost is what 4. That is the actual cost. And again I repeat, H dash means how it is away from a goal. So that is H dash. Okay. So So listen how to solve this example. So initially one start state is given, start is A and goal G is given. Okay. So here in a base path search, the two lists are maintained, open and close list. So I will show you by using figure as well as list so you can understand. So here see the two lists are maintained. One is the open and another is the closed list. Now see initially the starting state is A, right? So initially what we have to do, initially the first node. So initial node is a what A node. So that is what the why we have put in a open, because the node is only generated but not explored, right? So initially in open A node is there and closed list is empty, right? All of you know that. Now after that in base first search algorithm, all of you know the algorithm. Now then after what we have to check in according to the algorithm, it's a goal state or not. If it's not a goal state, then what we are doing according to the algorithm, now we have to generate the successor of that particular node. Now see, now so which are the successor for A, everyone? So for A, B and C, these are the two successor. For A, B and another is the what C. These are the two successor. Now when two successors are generated, everyone. So in a see the in a base first search, the open and close list right here the what priority queue is maintained. Here what the priority queue is maintained. So and all of you know in a priority queue, in priority queue they are stored in what in a ascending order you have to store, right? So why here I have written C and B. So what for A the two successors are generated, that is B and C, and all of you know that here in a base for search, the estimated cost we have to consider. So now you have to check the estimated cost. So for B, what is the estimated cost? 8. And for C, what is the estimated cost? 6. So that means which one is and then you have to check this estimated cost, and according to this value have to store in a priority queue, but according to what? According to the ascending order you have to store, right? So how it is stored? For C it is 6 and for B it is 8, and that's why you can say that the first C is stored and another is what? B is stored. But see now what happened? Why the A is in a closed list? Why? Because what happened? Initially only a one node. Now when the now what happened? So now not A have a two successor B and C. So that means now the A node is examined, right? And the node, if the node is examined, now what you have to do? You have to put that node in a closed list. So now A is in a closed list and C and B is in a what? Open list. Okay. Now, according to the base first search algorithm, see that figure what I have explained. So now this contains the lowest value. So in this case, now D is selected, right? In that approach, we have done everyone. All of you know that. So now here what happened? So now which contains the lowest cost? So now C has the lowest cost. So now which node is the most promising? Now C is the most promising node, right? So we have to pick that node and generate its successor, right? So now when you are picking that node, so what you have to do? Put that node in a closed list and generate the successor. So now for C, which are the successors? C to C. But see here the cost is 0. So now see if the C successor cost is, if it is 0, then you have to check its parent. If its parent is same, then it's a self group and you have to ignore that, right? You have to ignore that. So now which another two are there? So another is C2D and another C2F, C2D and C2F. So now for D and F, you have to check what? You have to check estimated cost. So see that for D it is what? 5, and for F it is what? 4. For D it is 5 and for F it is 4. So you have to store in ascending order. So which one is stored first in the priority queue? F is stored and then after what? D is stored. So now see F is stored, D is stored, and here one is remaining, that is B, because its value is what? 8. So according to the priority queue it is stored. For F it is what? 4, for D it is 5, and for B it is 8. Okay. So see similarly you can see this figure, so you have more idea. See initially what I have taken, initially A node I have taken, right? So its SS value is 8. Now then after generate the two successor B and C, right? But see here you can say that the C has a what? Lowest cost, that by C is considered next. Now see from C what I have taken, F and D are generated, F and D are generated, right? So for F the cost is 4 and for D the cost is what? 5. And all of you know in base first, according to base first search algorithm, this is the most promising node, right? So now which one is explored next? So now see from F which one is generated? From F G is there. Now for G you don't have to consider actual, which you have to see, you have to check the estimated cost in a star algorithm. So now you have to check. So now what happened? Now F is in a close and G is in a what? Open list, right? So all of you know that in this way the problem is solved. So now here you are reaching to a goal. So what is your path? A to C, C to F, and F to G. A to C, C to F, and F to G. Right? So this is a path. This is a path you are getting. Right? If you want to start from one, start A, and the goal is what? G. So according to the base first algorithm, I am getting this path, right? Now, how to calculate the actual cost, everyone? So see this. So all of you know A to C, that is the cost is what? 1. C to F. What is the path? A to C, C to F, and F to G. So what is the path? So A to C, that is 1. C to F that is 6, 6 plus 1 means 7, and F to G that is 8. So 7 plus 8 that means 15. So the total cost is what? 15. So here through this path when I am applying the base first algorithm, then this path I am getting, and here the which actual cost I am getting, 15 actual cost I am getting. But see, remember, it may be possible that the if I am follow the another path, it may be possible that through that path I am getting what the I am getting the lower cost than this, right? So I am getting the optimal path. It may be possible that. Now see, consider in the same example. One path is what A to C. So A to C I am getting see follow this path. 8 A C D E G. So here I can say A to C that is 1, C to D that is 2, that is 2 plus 1 that is 3, D to E that is 4, means 3 plus 4 means 7, and E to G that is 2, that is 7 plus 2 that means 9. So that means what I'm trying to say, if I am following this path, right, from start to a goal state, if I am following this path, so in that case I am getting the cost what 9, right? So here I can say that through base path search algorithm, I am getting this path and I am getting the value what 50. But it may be possible that if you follow the another path, it may be possible that you are getting the low cost. So that means here you can say that the base path search algorithm, right? You can't say that always the base path search gives the optimal path, right? You can't say that it gives you a optimal path. Any doubt in this example? Hello, hello everyone. Clear with the example? How the base path search work? I think only Nemis is listening. Okay, Rutvik is also listening, and all others are sleeping. I think so. Okay, so see this figure, everyone. See this figure. This is another example of base first search that I want to explain you, everyone. Now, see here. I have not written the in previous case. I have written in this way. A to B, its actual cost is 4. In that way, I have written. But see here, for actual cost, you have to refer to this map. For actual cost, you have to refer to this map. So here you can see that from A to Z, from A to Z, the actual cost is what 75. From A to S, the actual cost is what 140. So these are G value that you have to consider, right? And what about the estimated cost? So see here I can say that for from A to S, the actual cost is what 140. But for S, what is the HS? What is HDS means estimated cost? So that is I can say that is 253. Means it is 253 away from goal. So the cost is what 250. That is the estimated cost, right? So here in map the actual cost is given. See that figure. Now how to solve it? So similar to that, consider everyone. My start state is A and my goal is B. Consider here, see right now the whole path is given here, but don't see that everyone. Try to solve it by yourself. Now see, the start state is A and goal is B. Okay. So now listen, if my start state is A, so how many possibilities are there? So from A, which are the successor? From A to Z is one successor, S is one successor, and another is about T is one successor. Now, from A, three successors are generated. Right now, when three successors are generated, then then next which node I have to select next? So you have to select next node based on what? based on the h dash value. All of you know that. So now what you have to do? You have to check the estimated cost. So you have to check for you have to check for J, T, and S. So now see, everyone. For S, the estimated cost is what? 253, right? Another is what? T and another is Z. Okay. So for S, the estimated cost is 253. For T, the estimated cost is 329. And for Z, the estimated cost is what? 375. So now from this three value, you can say that which node that contains the lowest cost. So H contains the lowest cost, right? So if it has the lowest cost, then next this node is considered. Then which node is considered next? This node is considered. Means see, after the S, what now this S node is considered next. Clear everyone? So up till now, what is your path AS? Up till now, what is your path AS? Now once the node S is selected according to the base first search algorithm, now again what happened? Again the successors are generated. So which successors are generated? F and R. So now again what you have to check? You have to check the estimated cost, right? So what about the F and R? See that. So for F, its estimated cost is 176, and for R, its estimated cost is for F it is 176, and for R it is 193. Right. So now by seeing this estimated cost, so F node it has the lowest cost, right? And that's why you can say that. So now next, which path is follow? A, S, and then what? F is selected next. So up till now, what is your path? A, S, F. That is your path, right? If you are want to reaching to a goal, so up till now, this path you are getting A, S, F. Now after that, from F, again you have to generate the successor. So now your successor is what? B. Okay. So now from F to what? B. So F to what? B, and B is your what? B is your goal. So that's why see and B is my goal. So you have to stop there. Okay. So A, S, F, and B. So this path I am getting by using the base first algorithm. Now how to get this cost 50? A. So when you follow this path A, S, F, B. So calculate this value everyone. 140 plus 99 plus F to B, that is what? 211. So when you do the summation of this, so here you are getting what? 450, right? But similar to the previous example, I can say, see, yeah, see this path I am getting, but by using base first search algorithm, I am getting this solution. But it may be possible that the another path, right, in that I am getting the good solution, right? So suppose the another path looks like this according to the figure everyone. So another path is like this: A to S, S to R, R to P, and P to B, right? So this is a start and this is a goal node. So this is another path: A to S, that is 140, plus S to R, that is 80, plus R to P, that is 97, plus P to B, that is 101, right? So when you perform the sum, so here you are getting 418. So that means here you can say that, so it may be possible that the optimal path you are getting, but see in base first search you are getting 450. So by seeing this solution, you can't say that the base first search that gives the optimal path, right? So, but see, in next lecture I will explain you the A-star algorithm. So in that you are getting the optimal path. See, the same two example, listen everyone, this same two example I am taking in a A-star algorithm, and in that I will show you this optimal path. See, here in base first search you are getting 15, but in A-star algorithm I will show you, we will get the cost 9. Similarly, this same example I am taking, and at that time I will explain you the 418 I am getting in a A-star algorithm, right? So, so this is all about the base first search. Any doubt in a base first search, everyone? Hello, hello. Okay. So if you have no doubt, see before going to the next topic, if you have no doubt, then please tell me the same question that the same thing I have already explained. Can you tell me the difference between the steepest ascent hill climbing and base pass search? If you understood properly, then tell me the answer. And then after going to the next topic. Write down in reply in chat everyone. What's the difference between steepest access hill climbing and base path search? Any other difference? Okay. So going to the next slide. The next is a beam search. It's a variation of base first search. Only the n most promising states are kept for a future consideration. Listen, it's a beam search. It's a variation of base first search where the n most promising states are kept for a future consideration. And it's efficient for memory, but there may be a chances of missing a solution. See the same figure I will show you, and I will explain you. Now listen in a BAME search. Here you can say that only the n most promising states are kept for a future consideration. Right? In a base first search, what I have explained, it follows a single path but switches a path when some competing path. And see here in a base first search, you can say that one move is selected, but others are kept around so that they can be revisited later if required, right? That I will explain everyone. But see here in the case of beam search, what happened? Let's say consider some n value is fixed. Initially, suppose consider some n value is fixed. Suppose let's say I am giving the n value. Suppose my n value is n equals to 2. It means that only when the nodes are generated, right? When the successes are generated, so at that time only the two nodes you have to kept in a memory, right? And the rest are what? The rest are ignored. So listen again, I repeat. In a beam search, only the n most promising states are kept for a future consideration. So now let's say consider the value of n is 2. So now see, initially there is only a one state, that is A. Now see here in this case from A, let's say three successors are generated, that is B, C and D. But what is the value of n? So then after applying the heuristic, all of you know that. Now suppose the n is 2. N is 2, it means that only the two most promising node you have to consider and rest are ignored. Right? In the case of what? Beam search. In the case of base first search, what happens? All the nodes are considered. Right? All the nodes are what? Other nodes are kept around so that they can be revisited. But here in the case of beam search, what happens? When you are taking n equals to 3, then three nodes you have to consider. Let's say I am considering n equals to 2. Right now n equals to 2. So now what happens? So from these three nodes, it will select the most promising node. So all of you know that D is the most promising node. So by comparing these two, another is a which most promising node? B is also most promising node. So now in a beam search, what it will do? It will cancel this. C is what? C is cancel out because the value of n is 2 means two nodes you have to consider. Right? Now what happened? Now next D node is explored. The same algorithm is there. Now D node is explored, but see right now we are only two successors are there. But suppose listen, suppose there are three successes are there, then what it will do? It will consider only two nodes, two most promising nodes, right? So in this way it works. The beam searches work. But see here, when compared to a base first search, so here you can say that it is efficient for memory. Why? Because in a base first search, what happens? All the nodes are stored in a memory. But here in the case of beam search, what happens? If I keep the value n equals to 2, then it will what? It will keep in a memory only two most promising nodes and the rest is ignored. Right? So here you can say that it is efficient for memory in the according to the what when compared to the base first search. But here it may be possible that there may be of chances a solution when you are solving this. So it may be possible that when you are going through this path, it may be possible that you are not getting the solution, right? See right now, suppose in my first case I have ignored this C, but it may be possible that the later it may be useful when you are not getting the if you are applying this approach and if you are not getting the solution, it may be possible that later this node may be useful. But see, in the case of I have taken n equals to 2, so I have ignored this, so later I can't use it, right? So that means you can say that in a beam search it is efficient for memory, but there may be a chances of missing a solution. All of you clear beam search? Hello, all of you clear beam search? Okay, so the next topic is A-star algorithm. Now listen, the algorithm I will explain in your next lecture, but some brief introduction about that I will explain you in a today's lecture. Now see, for the purpose of pathfinding, the two algorithms we have studied, one is a Dijkstra algorithm. I think all of you study in a DSA. So it guaranteed to find a shortest path from a starting vertex using the relaxation condition for the positive weighted edge. All of you know this equation and how it works, so I will not explain you how the Dijkstra algorithm works. So it selects the vertex closest to the starting point, and it is a slow algorithm. Right? All of you know that this is all about Dijkstra algorithm. And what about the best first search algorithm, right? That we have studied right now. It's a greedy in nature. It does not guarantee to find the shortest path. It selects the vertex closest to a goal. See, that I have explained, right? It considers only H dash. H dash means it selects the vertex how it is closest to a goal. And it has some estimate heuristic value of how far from the goal any vertex is. So here you can say that it runs much quicker because of the estimated value which guides its way towards the goal. And that's why the A-star combines the heuristic approaches like greedy based first search and formal approaches like Dijkstra algorithm. So here the equation is f dash equals to g plus h dash. Now see, consider here everyone, the difference between A-star algorithm and base first search is in base first search it consider only what H dash. H dash means how the particular how it is away from how far the goal, how far from the goal any vertex is, right? So it will consider only h dash. So in the case of this first search, your heuristic function is what f dash equals to h dash. While in the case of a star algorithm, you have to consider what f dash equals to g plus h dash. And what is g? What is g, everyone? See, this thing I have explained. What is G? G means it's a measure of cost of getting from initial state to a current node. H dash means it's estimation of cost from getting from current node to a goal. And F dash means estimation of total cost of getting from initial state to a goal state, right? So this is the difference in a star. Heuristic function is f dash equals to g plus h dash, while in the case of base cost, only estimated cost is considered. So the equation f dash equals to h dash is there, right? So this is the difference between these two algorithms. Uh, the uh, the example that I have explained, the base first search algorithm, same example I am taking in a A-star algorithm. And what I have explained in today's lecture, when you follow the base first search, so you can't say that you are getting the optimal path. See, another path we have, I have explained ki through another path, it may be possible that you are getting the good result, you are getting the optimal path. right? So same example we are taking in a star, and in that I will explain you how we achieve that optimal path. So I will explain you in the next lecture. Any doubt up to this, everyone? Hello? Any doubt? Okay. So I'm ending my session over here. Thank you.
Hello, students. Yeah, uh, 3:30 p.m. right, and BDA lab, so-called Monday. Okay, I have shared a Google Form link with you just 15 minutes before. I'm not certain have you received that or not in your email. Can you please check and some of you tell me whether have you received a Google Form link in your email or not? It's basically I want to find out how many of you are able to work currently on Hadoop. What is your development environment setup, etc. So Vivek says not received, not received. So that means it failed. Okay, because I selected all of your email addresses and I was expecting that it didn't give me any error, but I was expecting that there must be some problem. Anyways, give me a moment. I'll share that link in the chat window. Let me just do that now and see if you can access that. Can you all try this link, and is it letting you submit? Please try. You may take 15 minutes to fill this form, or by the time I get you, ready, you look at it, you may have to upload some screenshots if you have few. So you may start your computer workstation, or but I need this information. Let me present the screen, what I need from you, I think. Let me present the screen and tell you what do I need. So I'm showing you this form, which the link I have provided to you, right? I need your roll number, maybe full name. Then I need to learn which platform are you using for Big Data Hadoop. Like, is it a Linux workstation or Windows with VM Linux or any other? If there is any other you are using, please mention it in this optional text line here, saying cloud with so and so things, etc. Then the next question will be, are you able to see HDFS components? You may say yes or no. And HDFS components mean the master and worker component of HDFS, which are name node and data node. Next would be, are you able to do file IO using command line, right? Like create the directory, put a file, download a file likewise. Are you also able to do with graphical certain operations? Know that there was one aim in lab 3, I believe, which was about Dr. Wu. I repeat, the username Dr. Wu. You are supposed to configure your own username, and then it will allow you to, create file from front end also. I mean, delete file from front end also. So I'm not certain how many of you have done that. I have not checked the assignments yet, but I was expecting that you should be able to do that graphically also. Then are you able to see YARN or MapReduce components? Then are you able to see, are you able to run MapReduce program? Yes or no? And there are 10 maximum number of screenshots you can attach, images, okay? Successes or failures, and failures, whatever, okay? This is just for record purpose, and I actually would have to do one-to-one, or some point in time I'll have to find out where do you stand. So this Google form will help me identify where do you stand with respect to Hadoop development environment setup. Okay, fine. So take 15 minutes or so and get me this form. Okay, so yeah, that is a fine. I'll remove this constraint. Fine. Jainam, thank you for that. It's just that I did copy and paste. I mean, it allows you to duplicate, so that is now not there. Anything else? So see that I'm expecting some screenshot. If you would have them, I mean, if you can start your machine and start processes and grab some screenshots and upload. They are optional. I just kept it optional, but if you may upload, that will be a plus. That will help. In a way, that's a proof that you are able to do it, but I kept it optional. Just, I do not want you to have form not submitted. Okay. Okay, take your, take 10 minutes or so, and I need responses. Let your friends know that they have to fill this form. You may share the link in your WhatsApp group if you may have one. Fine, I'll be back in 10 minutes.